And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, for our second and final best of three of day one of iLeague. I'm LD, your host. I'm joined here today by Cinderin, and it's time for us to cast Power Rangers versus Rave. How you doing, Sind?
I just can't wait to get started. It was a pretty long intermission between the first and the second series here. A little longer than we were expecting, I guess, but hopefully the teams are ready and the technology is working. At least it looks good so far for the draft. So let's have a look at it. It's pretty standard from the get-go here. Lycan will be let through by Rave, banning out Brewmaster and Death Prophet as theirs. Tinker and Razor banned by PR. And okay, this is not a usual first phase pick coming out from Rave. And that one isn't either.
I'll be honest, I have not seen Rave play at all. I have not had a chance to watch the KDL since we're usually casting Chinese Dota during that time, so I'm not really sure how they're picking. And, honestly, it could be a support Naga, it could be a core, and I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I'll try to do a little research while the picks come out here, but
it was back when Lycan started becoming popular, or was popular, and Naga started coming into the game. She was introduced into Dota 2 after Lycan. She was kind of the counter pick that came in because of Ensnare. Song of the Siren, whenever Lycan was in BKB, would just focus him down. She even had illusions of her own to kill him with, so I don't know if this is just a counter pick to the Lycan from Rave and they tried to bait it, or if they wanted it anyway, but it's got good synergy with Jakiro at least. You can Song into Ice Path Macropyre, but it's not a classic combination. It's really interesting when you see these kind of teams face up against each other. I feel like a team like Rave just brings something different to the table. They kind of have their own metagame almost.
So yeah, last time that they ran the Naga Siren, it was Jo playing it, so looks like Radiant solo mid Naga was actually it was a safe lane farming Naga, I think. Not 100% sure how he laned it, but yeah, it was a carry Naga last time around, so they've got the option of doing that again. And it looks like it was a core Jakiro as well. So we've seen this a little bit more recently in the Western scene. EG, I guess the main team that were doing it at WEC, and it is it's one of those heroes that was a lot stronger than people realize. I know AUI 2000 was often talking about how amazing Liquid Fire was, but then Cloud9 didn't really pick the hero that much, and it was finally EG at that WEC event that just started like slamming a Jakiro pick down almost every game in pretty much any situation. Universe playing it quite a few times, and it did a lot of work for them. So I do like the hero in general, though he's a little clunky against the Lycan in fights.
Yeah, it's very hard when you're playing a hero with a high turn rate, a low turn rate. When you have a bad turner, let's call it that, and you have long cast animations on top of that, it's very hard to hit a hero like Lycan who easily dodges this. So landing Ice Paths and Macropyre and Dual Breath is really difficult, but it's not necessarily a problem when you have a setup like Ensnare or Song of the Siren, which makes it incredibly easy to land those abilities. And additionally, perhaps the idea here for Rave is, let's say the Naga is played as a core and you want her to transition into late game. You're technically sort of playing a 4 Protect 1, or maybe directly playing one, and then Jakiro is one of the really good heroes at putting pressure early on other lanes, so the enemy team has to give Naga space, because if they don't, the Liquid Fire will just take down the towers. Also, fairly good hero in its own right at being tanky early on as a support, and just getting involved into fights, so I can totally see it working, but in particular against these two heroes from PR, it's not that amazing of a hero just yet, but maybe it becomes more obvious what Rave wants. At least they're not wasting time here.
Yeah, they're not wasting any time. They did ban the Brew first stage. English also hard for me this morning, apparently. And they go for Avenge. So the last time they ran this strat, it was Avenge and a Witch Doctor. So we're not going to see the Brew that they also... they also picked a Brew that game. So we won't see the Brew. Who could have been pretty decent this time around against the Lycan. He's obviously really nice, but there are still some other teamfight controllers out there. I guess it really comes down to the lanes. If we're looking at a mid Naga, we generally see Jakiro, I would say more often he's in the off lane and like a dual lane setup is how most of the Western teams have run him. EG have done that a few times. I think I've seen Cloud9 just run AUI in a safe lane before. So Power Rangers will go Shaman. I mean, this is pretty classic Dire side style play. Get your Roshan lineup and just look to control the pit and push with the Aegis. But we're going to see a Doom from Rave Sin, so very different style from what a lot of the teams are running nowadays.
Yeah, I don't know why Doom fell off, to be honest. I still think he's a great hero. Maybe not a first pick, but I'm not surprised to see him getting picked up at least in one game today. The Venge seems directly targeted at the Batrider, just to have the swap against the Lasso. Also great to have a targeted stun against Lycan, because AoE stuns, as mentioned earlier, can actually fairly easily be dodged by him, but if the Venge stuns mid-air, you're going to get hit unless you have a BKB. And, well, Rave to me, this kind of, the draft they have right now, it has elements of what used to be considered really, really strong a couple of months ago. And then they have some new stuff mixed in there, mainly with the Jakiro, which had an awful record at TI4. I think it went like 1-7 or 1-8 in total. Whereas Doom and Nagasiren, I believe, both did fairly well. And they're going to grab an IO now for PR.
Okay, interesting.
This is very unusual together with Lycan, because he generally doesn't really need the tether for anything.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing the Shaman and Wisp can do together, which Demon was doing when he went to Korea, which is why I bring it up, he's played for MVP Phoenix, is they would like use Relocate just to basically go around the map backdooring tower, like the tier 1s with the wards. So you relocate it, you drop the wards, you auto-attack it, and then the Wisp brings you back to safety. So I'm not sure if that's the kind of style Power Rangers have in mind. Recent Wisp games I've seen, a lot of the Chinese teams have been running, well, not a lot of them, it's Hyper Glory team in particular, been running Tuskar Wisp as like a very heavy dual roam combo. I'm not, and actually they would just leave the Shadow Shaman safe lane to farm. I doubt that's the direction Power Rangers will go. You basically sack the Shaman and he probably dies a few times, but you just crush the mid lane. But they don't really have that mid hero that can easily find a bunch of kills early on. So I'm wondering, what did PR have in mind with this Wisp?
It is just possible to run the standard dual lane setup with IO, Tiny or something mid, Shadow Shaman with Lycan safe lane, and then Batrider off lane. It might not be anything fancy coming out here. It was just not the hero I was expecting here. And the one good thing about IO against Doom is, of course, you can relocate out the Doom target, and then you can perhaps reset the fight and come back in. But apart from that, there's no really obvious reason to get the IO here, I feel. I think the last pick is going to explain to us what Power Rangers are aiming for here. But now the Witch Doctor pick from Rave, I think you're right. It's probably a core Jakiro. And if they want to run this as a tri-lane, that tri-lane is beastly. It's almost impossible to deal with a triple ranged lane with double targeted stun, or even triple almost. Well, Ice Path isn't targeted, but if you don't land it with Venge Stun and a cask, you're doing something wrong. So
oh, Gyro Wisp. Okay, we've seen this from Empire quite a bit, actually. They've been running a lot of Gyro. One of the very few teams that do, but it's an odd pick sin against Doom, because, yeah, Doom's good at shutting out every carry, but he's especially good against Gyro. If you flat cannon, you get doomed. Flat cannon's disabled. So I guess you still have to relocate out to kind of live through that Doom, but I do find it a slightly curious pick. And when the other thing with Empire is when they've been running it, it's almost always with Faceless Void for mags. They have great setup for the Gyrocopter ult.
Yeah, and in addition to that, they also... The IO pick, or the Witch Doctor pick rather, first of all gives the Rave a great tri-lane, but it's also a way of dealing with the IO tandem, right? And if you're running IO with a short-range hero, the chance that they get exposed to the cask is actually fairly good if he isn't very careful, so... Sick needs to be a little bit cautious on the IO here with how he positions himself relative to the Gyro. And, well, apart from that, like, PR's picks make sense. It's not that. It's just... This is not, for me, that good of an IO game. When you look at Rave's heroes, the ways they have... They already... When IO got picked, it got picked into Jakiro and Naga, who are both really good at just disengaging. You see the relocate, you drop an Ice Path, you run. You see the relocate, you drop Song of the Siren, and you run. Even the cask is good when they relocate in. You can actually turn it on them, so... Kind of peculiar. I'm looking forward to seeing how PR pull it off.
Yeah, when it comes to team fights right now, we just have to favor Rave if it's equal levels in farm. Way more control, the Doom to give them the +1 edge, and... Well, PR, they more seem to excel at just spreading the map. Even though they don't have, like, that one, I don't know, that one, like, hero that can just go around finding solo kills too easily. There's a Batrider, and Batrider into relocate, pretty powerful duo, and maybe that's the plan, to just kind of spread the map, prevent Rave from ever getting that epic song into Witch Doctor Ultimate into Ice Path teamfight. But we'll have to see how it plays out. For now, we'll go ahead and introduce the teams. On the side of the Power Rangers, we've got J4, your support Shadow Shaman. We just Zik will be on the Wisp. Moon, safe lane Gyro. towards the mid lane goes Shachlo, so the solo mid lane will be the choice, and that puts Cheshire Cat as your off-lane Bat Rider. He actually bought some support items, because all he's got right now is Tangos and a Clarity. And on the side of Rave, we have Cast playing the Witch Doctor. Or did he drop his boots somewhere, and I'm just missing them?
I'm not sure. I think you might be right, because Io has a lot of gold, so I think they just want to fast something.
Yeah.
It's not really a bottle game, because he's not running mid. I'm not sure what's going on right now.
Alright, well, Ninja Boogie will be on your Vengeful Spirit, normally known for his core play. And of course, a lot of these Rave players are actually from the Philippines, so if you're not familiar with them, pretty well-known players on some Pinoy teams, MSI in the past for Cast, and we've got Rio, will be playing your Jakiro, that puts Chrissy into the jungle as the Doom, and then in the mid lane, we'll go the Naga Siren of Jo. So Chrissy not even going to try to lane top to start this off, but looks like he might head that way now. So yeah, what's our... Oh, he must have dropped his boots somewhere, just to block the wave better. I didn't see where they were, though.
Okay, so yeah, all the support items were bought by Shadow Shaman, and then Io saved his gold. That must have been how they did it, but yeah, kind of weird. I don't think I've really seen that before. Someone dropping his boots like that, but
I know some players think that it's good. Some offlaners think it's just easier to creep block when you don't have the extra move speed. They find it just easier to do. So I've seen it on the Radiant offlane. For some reason, I've just never seen anyone do it on the Dire. Maybe because they just start in the jungle so often.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. If you're used to doing it that way, then why not? There's no loss. The chance that your boots get stolen if you hide them in, like, here is
pretty much
1 out of a million games. Someone will gank you there and take your boots.
To be fair, if this was that 1 out of a million game, it's not like, oh, just an online match. They've traveled to China for it. So that would suck, but not going to be the case. So early on, Sin, this is a perfect 8 and 7 Jakiro in the bottom lane. He's got 8 denies. Sorry, he's got more denies than everyone else in the game. No, top lane. Onto Chrissy they go. They've got the tether chase tower. There is a stomp from the Doom. I don't think they'll chase farther, but he's out of mana, and he can't do that again. If they catch him out one more time, that'll be first blood.
Yeah, really nice war stomp there to stop the Gyro's pursuit, and does stay alive. At the same time, in the bottom lane, we've also got level 2 on Cheshire Cat. He's going to be playing a 1-on-2 lane, since it looks like Ninja Boogie is... I'm not really sure what Ninja Boogie is aiming for here. He's kind of running around a little bit. Gonna take this little Centaur creep to make the creep camp respawn there, but not too much gank potential, I think. Naga Siren doesn't have Ensnare. I'm not even sure Jo is gonna skill it. He might just do the classic thing in mid where you skip it entirely. No, he skilled it on level 4. So maybe they're looking for a kill mid soon with the Venge Smoke, actually. It might happen really soon. Because Jo will have mana.
They can get this kill, too. Like, I think he's just low enough. Although Ninja Boogie's only level 1. They could really use the Wave of Terror here, but let's see. He's setting up for potentially. Cheshire Cat, meanwhile, is going to make his move into the jungle. They did drop the Magic Bush Ward, which I guess in this case almost hurts him, because he could stand to farm that small camp, but for now he's just going to do a bit of stacking of the Radiant jungle, and now we'll head towards their big creep. I think he might be hunting for the Doom, although the Doom is currently top, so yeah, some kind of unusual movements here for both teams, really.
I think he's mainly looking for whether Rave has been stacking, because Venge has been so much missing. He's thinking maybe she's stacking the jungle for the Naga, and then he wants to steal the camps, but he just checked and there's nothing going on. I think he's gonna steal it anyway. It's one of the safest places on the map for him to be honest, right now, especially when Venge shows. There's almost no risk involved in this, because if the mid laner moves, it's pretty obvious, and he'll see the Witch Doctor right now here moving towards him, so he knows exactly what's going on.
Meanwhile, Cass going to check... potentially check to see where he is, but not finding him. Not waiting for the 4-minute rune, as Cheshire Cat will begin to farm that camp. And he'll get close to level 3 off of this one. So he's actually doing alright in the offlane. The Doom from Chrissy, a bit better. Already 3 3/4, but that is the Radiant advantage. As they smoke and Ninja Boogie's revealed mid. J4 in position to reveal that. So great game sets there, just expecting that timing, and the gank will not succeed.
It's funny to look at the CS chart, how 4 heroes have 20+, and then the next one on the board is 4 CS. There's often like a little bit more on one of the offlaners, so someone going into the jungle, or one of the supports pulling, but it's all about those few cores as well. Okay, I was not expecting that to even happen, so I wasn't even looking there.
Yeah, they just ran him down. Liquid
yeah,
fire.
Witch Doctor had a haste.
Dual breaths, right clicks.
The reason they get that kill.
That burn damage is really deceptive. It's like, okay, I think I'm gonna live. No, I'm not. I'm still ticking down to the DOT. Yeah, that's a nice kill for them, and your Batrider at this point quite far behind compared to the Doom. Chrissy already level 4, the offlane Bat will get a good wave of experience, or at least half a wave, but yes, and he's struggling. And to top it off, like, even if he wasn't late, there's 20 freaking denies on this Jakiro.
Oh no, he might have TP'd into his death again here. Nope, no cask.
They had a dual breath, but I guess they just feel like they can't push him over the cliff, and, well, they're just going to push the tower instead. They've got an early point in the heal, and they're using it to take this tower early. It's a pretty big investment by Rave, but looks like they should at least bring the tower down to about a third HP, if not kill it off.
Yeah, they're going to get this, and I don't think he can even try to deny it here. So very easy last hit going the way of Witch Doctor. Good start overall for Rave. First, they got the first blood and the first tower, and Jo is also out farming the Lycan in the mid lane. And you know, Naga is that type of hero where if you get off to a good start and you get that fast radiance and there's no pressure on you directly that the game is going to end soon, you will take off. And there's no real way of dealing with Naga in this game apart from Flak Cannon, and I don't think that's enough. So if they even get towers in addition to her free farm, we could look at a really early Radiance for Jo. And to be honest, I'm worried for PR if that happens. They kind of need to make something happen before that Radiance comes up. Get some towers.
I'm really with you there, Sin. I feel like they need to do something soon, whether it's a relocate gank as soon as Wisp hits 6. Your Batrider's not going to come online for a long time, but or maybe even sneak a Roche. But if they can't do one of those, then I worry for them. Rave are off to a really good start. I mean, it's not just the Naga. This Jakiro's free farming. Their team fight's going to be scary. Doom's on track to a fairly fast level 6. Like, the mid game of Rave, they're running a Naga, but the supporting cast is very strong there. And I'm feeling like PR just won't win head-on engagements. They're going to have to spread the map and kind of outmaneuver Rave as opposed to beating them head-on.
The good thing that PR have got going for themselves is that Gyro is the main farmer, and he's doing really well. I think they even just farmed a stack here at the hard camp or something, or well, maybe not, but
yeah, they were pulling there as
well.
He
got a stack there.
Yeah, they have
so one. He's looking good, and he's level 6. So when when Io hits level 6 and they can start relocating together, I think we're going to see some kill attempts early on. But we're still looking at a situation where, if nothing happens, Rave are probably fine with what's going on right now. And, maybe not. Maybe they actually want to be on the aggressive here. Pretty peculiar gank, though, with Venge level 2, Witch Doctor level 4, and a Doom who isn't 6 yet. I don't think they can even kill this Gyro. I think that's going to backfire really hard.
Well, they're going to try for it. It is currently nighttime, so not a ton of vision of this rotation, but just look at the positioning of Moon. He's also got phase boots already online. There's still no Doom up. It's a very difficult dive, and they're even bringing the Lycan, well, not there, but towards that lane. They'll TP in a 4th hero now. You said 4 protect 1, and in some ways it feels like a dead style, but hey, it's 4 pushing top, creating space while Jo farms the mid, so kind of that,
We're pushing for one.
That EG classic, well, not classic, but like that, you know, the new EG 4 protect one of just the farming solo mid, which we've seen them do less of lately.
With an 8-minute mech on a Jakiro who has level 4 Liquid Fire, I don't see why they need to stop here. The fighting potential for PR is just not there yet with a level 5 Batrider. So maybe they continue here and try to put a little extra pressure. That early mech is just such a big deal here, because it's one of the best items in an early mid-game situation against the Gyrocopter, who's so much about that spread damage. And you could actually just tank up the cooldown and use the mech right now and maybe continue the push.
It's already been dropped to slow it down. They'll get the Liquid Fire on the tower, bring it down by about 200 health, and Cheshire Cat is still 1,200 gold off his blink. Looking at the jungle, there's a double stack, and he could farm these. No Golem so far, so that's good news for him, but it's got to be like an early... Well, once the back hits his blink, they have to make something happen with that, relocate, or they have to sneak a Roche. It feels like they're surprisingly the ones under a ton of early pressure, despite... Like, you see Doom, Naga, you expect the enemy team to farm, but Rave are taking the fight to them on the back of this Jakiro.
Yeah, so far that safe lane Jakiro has really done everything it needs to this game, and it's doing even more now. They've rotated mid, they saw the TP of the Batrider to the top lane, so they know if anyone shows up, it's a 4-on-4. And another free tower. I don't know what PR can actually do about this.
I think they're just totally caught off guard. Like, this was actually almost the identical draft to what Rave used in their last match. I just looked it up like in the middle of the draft, and the only difference is they had Brew instead of Doom. But in this case, Doom's probably even better just to punish the Gyro pick. And It seems like PR just weren't
Oh, they
expecting
even
the
have their
strategy.
stack stolen now by Jo up here. Everything is going Rave's way. This is a huge economic win. They're behind by 1,000 experience, but 4,000 gold lead. And the only reason for the discrepancy in XP is that the Venge and Witch Doctor are fairly low level. Level 3 and 4 in comparison to the Shadow Shaman IO level 5s. But as long as they're not 6, these levels aren't that significant. It's at that point that PR need to make their big comeback off those level 6s and the Blink on Bat, but it's going to be such a late Blink now that his camp got stolen too. And they even, look at it, they even leave the Skeletons here to block the camp another time. Just nothing going the way of Cheshire Cat.
And they still don't have relocate. They still don't have Blink Dagger, so it's like there's no one who can really go around the map turning this around. Maybe we'll see a dive on the top lane from J4, but he can't kill this Jakiro alone. He'll need backup. They're bringing Ouija, Sick, and Moot all the way top lane. It's almost like a desperation gank if that's really what they're searching for, but yeah, it looks like they'll go for J4's level 6 instead. And the best thing about getting these early towers, Sind, is they not only do they punish the Bat taking over the jungle, Jo has drums, and he's got 2,600 gold. A lot of that tower gold. He is very close to a relic. We're looking at like a, what, 16, 17, probably like a 17-minute radiance or so if he keeps this up.
Yeah, and with a drum, that's a really good time. Even less. I think he could get it at like 15 if he keeps up this pace right now. He's got 8 CS per minute, as well as they've taken 3 towers. If they get a tier 2 on top of that, he's going to look good. But
oh, this is so risky for Shade. So he's got no backup in sight. They are showing a few heroes top, but they have to know that the lake is off the map. And there's 5 heroes right near the pit. Jakiro's in position. I think they might realize now. No, Jay is still pushing him mid. But even if they get the Roche, they're giving up a tower bottom. They're going to take a ton of damage on the tier 2 mid. That's potentially 4 or 5 towers down before they even claim an Aegis. They're pushing the tier 1. Already the tier 2 bottom falls, and the rotation from Rave? No, they're TPing out. They don't know about the Roche, or they don't care. And 3 get caught by the song. This could be very ugly. Doom's ready. Are they going to Doom the Wisp? There's no relocate available. They can save that for Moon. He gets netted up 2 dead in a matter of seconds. A 3rd should follow. Moon, no way out of this. The call down just easily tanked. PR getting crushed. 3 heroes now dead in that fight, and there's just no trade-off, really, aside from the Aegis, I suppose. But I've never seen a team get an Aegis at 12 minutes and felt less optimistic about their chances than I do right now.
It's like the only thing they've got going for them. They haven't taken a tower with Lycan. They've barely even scratched one. Alright, top. Okay, top's half. But I don't think you're satisfied with that if you're PR right now. And in addition to that, just overall great play there from Jo, pre-casting the song, TPing in, catching all 3, and then the beautiful Ice Path follow-up there coming out from Ryor. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name. It's pretty difficult.
I just call him Ryo.
Ryo? Yeah, maybe that's better. Yeah.
Less potential for me to butcher it anyway.
Yeah.
And their jungle's invaded too. Like, not only did they lose the early map control, but Rave are keeping it that way. And it seems to me if they want to just 5-man at a tower, they still can. And if they want to farm and try and take this late, like, they've got Naga Doom. Your late game's very fearsome, and the supporting cast ain't half bad either.
It just, when you look at PR's draft, it just seems like a mix and match of these heroes are really good, but where's the actual synergy, right? You've got a Lycan who's a top pick, no doubt about it. Io is a top pick for certain teams. Shadow Shaman regarded as one of the best supports right now. Bat Rider is a very strong offlane in the, at least in the Western meta. And then you've got Gyro, who's a good duo partner for the Io. But these 5 heroes combined, it's kind of reminding me. Do you remember that game at TI3 where when Zenith didn't ban any heroes, and the enemy team picked like all the top tier heroes, but their lineup just didn't really work that well together?
Yeah, that was
kind of reminiscent of that, I feel.
That was the game where it was against IG, I believe, and IG ran a 4-position Bat, and this was when Bat was like super, super broken, but it was just too greedy. Zenith just took over their jungle. I forget what their heroes were, but they were just constantly fighting when the Bat was trying to farm the woods, and there weren't really any adjustments available, and Zenith just ended up crushing them. So yeah, it feels a little bit like that for sure, and I think mishmash is the perfect word to describe it. It's like you have a little bit of push, a little bit of gank, not that much team fight, and there's no like, oh my god, this hero just counters that one so hard factor either. And it's where they didn't win their lanes is the other thing, and now they're kind of up against it. Still, they're going to push though. They do have Lycan, they do have Shaman wards, and PR, despite that 6k gold deficit, they're ahead on experience slightly, and And they do have the power of tower clear, which they're going for now.
Yeah, they're sending in Shotchlo here, who does have level 2 Shapeshift and the Aegis, so pretty safe for him to go in here and try to take this tower. He's slightly scared because there's heroes missing, but now they're showing in the top lane, so this tower is a goner. Finally, PR get on the board with a tower here. The problem is, they're probably trading their tier 2 top, and look at Jo. What did you said 17 or 18 minutes on that Radiance? I think we're closer to the 15, actually. If he gets the tower last hit, he has it, almost.
Oh my god. And they got an Observer Ward here as well. They smoked earlier here, and it was spotted. And now again, when Cheshire Cat tries to move in, he can't. Tower goes the way of the Venge. Still, he'll have it in like 2 waves. So we're looking at a 16-minute Radiance, maybe 16.5 to 17 by the time it's delivered. But either way, really fast. And then your Lycan, Shaman, and Wisp, your split push attempts are going to be largely thwarted just by illusions cutting the waves, and well, I wonder where PR goes from there. It's already just feeling like they don't have a grip on the game.
I mean, it's one thing that they have. It would be fine if they had some sort of really heavy push that came online right now, so they could go and try to end the game against the Radiance Naga. I'm thinking games like a TI4 with the Pugna or something like that, where you don't necessarily have to take the towers extremely early, but when you have to hit the sweet spot, and then at that point you start taking all the towers. But I don't really feel like they have that lineup. They have a lineup that takes one tower, and then they have to wait for the Shaman wards again. It's not happening without those. And that's just too slow already. And it's kind of strange to say that in a 16-minute game that it's not good enough that you take a tower every 2 minutes, but Jo is going to be progressing so damn fast that by the time they take all the tier 1s and tier 2s, if they were to do that way, Jo would already have 2 or 3 items.
Yeah, from here Boots of Travel can come out very quickly, and the thing is, like, the only way they can even feasibly gank him is with Lasso, which they're hunting for Chrissy now, but he pops the drum charge, the relocate's going to be way out of range. They might even go back in on this. Ninja Boogie's getting aggressive here. Support's coming from the south, it's Jakiro who gets the Yules off, catching Cheshire Cat place, then the follow-up stun, and they'll just leave him for dead. They lose their Bat Rider. The Aegis to expire in 1 minute's end, and they've yet to really take anything positive with it, aside from the tier 1 mid.
Yeah, they're looking for the tier 1 top here. At least they force some rotation here out of Rave, and if they get the tower, I guess they can be somewhat okay with the trade-off. Although the top tier 1 tower for the Radiant is kind of the most useless tower in the game, but never mind. We're gonna go on Moon. Their relocate's on cooldown, as they know. So Chrissy will be taking Moon easily here, I believe, with any sort of Yules. There we go. Easy kill.
It's a level 3 overcharge, but it's not going to matter. They'll lose him, and we just sick also on the run. Ninja Boogie has a swap ready to go, just goes for the stun. Liquid Fire follow-up, another kill for Rave. Wiping the floor with PR, not winning all 3 lanes, basically. They got the better trade out of the off lane. They shut down the bat in the safe lane. They outfarmed the mid. They've out-ganked them. They've out-pushed them. The only thing they haven't done is take Roche, but Rave are making quite a showing here for this Korean slash Filipino team, whatever you want to call them. Either way, they're killing it, Send. And honestly, if you'd asked me, I would have said I think PR looked like the stronger team coming into this, just based on results. More, I haven't really had a chance to watch Rave, but man, they're just getting hammered right now.
Yeah, on paper before this game, I don't know what odds I would give PR, but definitely well in their favor. And this just isn't even close.
I'm actually wondering what the Dota 2 Lounge odds are right now. 69-31.
It's just game 1.
Yeah, it is a best of 3. But what's odd to me is just that this draft is literally 4 out of the 5 heroes they ran in their very last game. And I mean, I guess I'm wondering, did PR do like any scouting of them in advance, or are they just not afraid of this strategy and kind of underestimated it? I guess we'd have to interview them to find out. They're up against it now, that's for sure.
It's kind of, how often do you see a 20-minute game in which the team with Bat Rider and Io haven't made a kill? Like, it's kind of unreal, actually, how effectively Rave are playing and how little PR are getting to do around the map. And it's not that Bat Rider and Io aren't trying, it's just, it's very hard for them to find openings when there's constantly so much vision being generated by Rave's pushing, right? They have the split pushing Naga, constantly pushing out waves and giving vision in the jungle. They have decent warding. And the early towers being taken by Jakiro just meant that it seemed like PR just never really got online to start getting a grip on the map, and it's very hard to gank if you have all your waves pushed against you all the time.
Well, where do you go from here if you're PR? It looks pretty bleak, but obviously they're not GG'ing out. They're going to try and fight it, so like, what's your angle of attack?
Well, the next Roshan, we don't know when is up, but I think PR wants to try to wait for that and then make a fight happen, but I don't even think that's the best way of doing it.
Oh, Cheshire Cat. He runs right into the vent. She blinks out in the nick of time.
Blink.
Quick reactions there.
They need to start. Oh no. That's gonna be. Oh no.
They've lost two.
So
potentially. The shaman's caught out in the trees. I don't know if they realize he's still there, but he's blinked in and revealed his position. Dropping the wards. Shade slow. Dropping low to this. The rotation comes in. They net him and hold him in place. Level death to secure the kill. Look at it go. Easily they bring down two. They may lose the Wisp as well. That's 3 down, and now Moon's on the run. Doomed and just absolutely useless as a hero when he gets doomed, especially without the Wisp backing him up. The lone survivor is Bat, and, well, Sind, they got a kill. But it was a very, very costly kill.
Well, they're closing in. Relatively. But
I'm not sure the graphs agree with you, dude.
Another big win for Rave there. Both golden experience-wise, taking about... Yeah, they got about 4,000 of each from that fight. And I don't know. I feel like Naga in this type of game is just... Based on my experience, Naga cannot lose this game anymore without making massive mistakes. And the way Jo has been playing this game so far has been pretty much textbook. So I don't really see much hope for PR at this point, apart from going for something like a desperation smoke, try to find some sort of team fight on their terms, and then should they manage and get a good team fight, there's a little hope left. Should they fail, just call GG and go next. Don't wear yourself out. It's a best of 3. You can reset and try it for the next game instead of just fighting for a lost cause, right? It's not, like, as far as golden experience territory goes in terms of theory, this isn't the biggest comeback in history if they do it. It's more just the lineup, that being behind 11k against a Naga in a 20-minute game, you just don't win. It's just how the game works.
And they just don't have the kind of like, it's hard to lose that game as Naga in general, but especially this lineup. Like, how do they have Batrider, that's it. There's no Doom, there's no, like, global silence or incredible control to deal with the Naga. And, well, we're gonna have a big fight now at the Roach Pit. Chrissy will blink in. He pops the Shivas as he does so. Still has the Doom ready to go. And now they hold everyone in position with Psalm. They'll let it end. The Doom roaring forward. He got off the Doom on the Gyro. That keeps Moon out of the fight. Can't BKB. Even if he could, it wouldn't matter. This Gyro just can't get anything accomplished in the fight. Chrissy's still chasing Changelo back. He crits him, almost finishing him off. Like, that Doom just manned up on a like and almost killed him. And, well, now they'll go in and collect their Rosh. With Liquid Fire, minus armor for Wave of Terror. This will be a quick and simple Rosh. Not to mention the pack leaders are on this squad. Rave will take the Aegis. That's a big mechanic that PR were counting on, and it's not available to them. Can they maybe snipe it with the Wolves? Nope. Not even that. Rave are prepared for that as well. They've got a Gemma Ninja Boogie. Nothing, Sind. Absolutely.
Oh, this is cool.
Nothing going their way.
Aegis on Jakiro. This, like, happens never.
Look at his items, though. Like, I love that. 4 staff, Yules. You can probably get 2 off in a fight. All his spells are spammable, and Liquid Fire is really strong.
Yeah, I'm trying to find some sort of positive angle for PR here, and I can't find one. So, I generally don't want to call a game over until it's over, but I think it's time for PR to look forward to the next game and try to think about what to do, because unless some sort of miracle happens, they will be losing this match. So, what is, apart from their own strategy not really mixing, like, not really working too well together, honestly, what's the key point that Rave did really well, and how do you deal with it? I feel like the Jakiro was really crucial this game.
I think they really underestimated Rave's willingness to just 4 or 5 man early. Like, that seemed to be kind of the biggest issue. Like, imagine if their offlaner this game was something like a Void. Like, at the very least, you can look towards potentially a... Well, maybe he wouldn't get the levels this game. Oh, they'll catch out 1 mid. J4 gets caught. Yule Scepter drops down right into a Ice Path and dies, but they're gonna Deathball at mid. Yeah, I don't know if Void offlane would have worked, but, like, I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking, like, they needed some team fight control if they wanted to defend those towers. And a lot of the Korean teams, like, Cindy, you look at MVP Phoenix, they ran a lot of 5-man strats even before they were all the rage, heading into TI4. A lot of Death Prophet picks before she was particularly popular, and I think we're seeing something, it's a little bit different with the Naga spice added to it, but still a pretty strong 5-man push overall. And I think PR have to respect that Rave are willing to commit to some strategy along those lines.
That's the thing for PR now is, yes, it's the best of 3, but they're behind 0-1, and if Rave have any sort of different type of strategy prepared, they could pull that out in game 2. And then with PR adapting to this style, Rave can basically take a pocket strategy win and be through to the top 4. So it's very dangerous to lose the first game like that, to not, what looks like not respecting what the enemy team is pretty much known for playing. And if they tried to counterpick it, my opinion on it is that they really failed. This does not seem like a counterpick at all.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Cheshire Cat caught up by the Yules. It's another kill as they do Moon, and he's out of the fight. They'll try and stay alive for a bit longer. The Witch Doctor ult kills off a second as the Shaman drops. Ward's not even enough to bring down Boogie. Now the Song. I'm not even sure they really need to do this to go for the kills, but they'll do it, and it's GG any minute. Like, PR probably just discussing their next game plan. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they've just been discussing game 2 for the past 5 minutes. And there you have it. GG. Rave take it easily, but like you said, it is a best of 3. It wasn't that long of a game, and they knew this one was over for probably 10 minutes, so shouldn't get too upset. Just focus on game 2, and, you know, maybe they just pull out a completely different draft. Drow Visage, you know? Something different.
Well, this was just, for me, a 100% strategic loss. Yes, they also got outplayed, but I have a hard time seeing the way the lanes got placed and the way the early game panned out, what their lineup was supposed to do. It just never really came together. It took too long. You have Io and Shadow Shaman, 2 supports that really need level 6s, and Rave just took full advantage of that, taking 3 towers really early and just free-farming a Naga. And then when you come online with their lineup, it's already too late. So I think it's just back to the drawing board.
And on that note, I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about this one. Rave won all the lanes, they took all the towers, and they couldn't lose from there. Game 1's a wrap, guys. The Power Rangers, they're not so mighty. They need to morph soon. They got to deal with this Megazord that's coming their way. Rave are looking good. We'll see if Power Rangers can bounce back in Game 2, but this is a best of 3. You're watching iLeague Day 1. Coverage brought to you by Beyond the Summit. I'm LD. He's Syndred. We'll take a very quick break. We'll return for Game 2. Stay with us.